This is the AP Stats Basic Quideo by Peyton Wood. The drug, AZT, was the first drug that seemed effective in delaying the onset of AIDS. Evidence for AZT's effectiveness came from a large, randomized comparative experiment. The subjects were 1,300 volunteers who were infected with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, but did not yet have AIDS. The study assigned 435 of the subjects at random to take 500 milligrams of AZT each day, and another 435 to take a placebo. The others were assigned to a third treatment, a higher dosage of AZT. We will compare only the two groups. At the end of the study, 38 placebo subjects and 17 of the AZT subjects had developed AIDS. We want to test the claim that taking AZT lowers the proportion of infected people who will develop AIDS in a given period of time. A. State the hypotheses and check that you can safely use the Z procedure. Well, first let's define two variables. Proportion P is the true proportion of patients with HIV who get AIDS while using the placebo, while proportion A is the true proportion of patients with HIV who get AIDS while using AZT. Our null hypothesis is that the proportion of P is equal to proportion of A, and our alternative is that the proportion of P is greater than the proportion of A. Next, we move on to our assumptions. An SRS is stated in the problem, and we assume that less than 1/10 of all people with HIV are being tested. And lastly, since this is a proportion, we must show that all number of subjects times the probability and the probability minus 1 are greater than 10, which in all four cases it is. B. How significant is the evidence that AZT is effective? For this, we'll conduct a two-sample proportion z-test. The formula is given below. I've taken the liberty of plugging those in and producing a z-value of 2.94, which gives us a proportion of being greater than z of about 0.0016. There is evidence that this is statistically significant and therefore reject the hoe that the proportion of placebo patients is equal to the proportion of AZT patients who will get AIDS. This is based on the evidence of a p-value of 0.0016, which is much lower than an alpha of 0.01 or any other reasonable alpha. C. The experiment was double-blind. Explain what this means. A double-blind experiment is simply when both the subject, in this case patient, and the person applying the treatment, in this case the AZT versus the placebo, did not know which the subject received. A third party did. In summary, in part A, we said our null hypothesis was that the probability of P equals the probability of A, and our alternative was P is greater than A. We also checked for the conditions of SRS, normality, and independence. In part B, we found statistical significant evidence to reject the hoe, and then in part C, we discovered that double blind means the subject and researcher are in the dark. Thanks for watching. Be sure to catch my other problems.
Created using Powtoon.